Are you struggling for consistency in your sim racing? Does your iRating look like a roller coaster? If so, we have good news for you. The way to get more consistent is to first understand what you're doing differently than the professionals. And VRS is the answer. With our competitive subscription, you will have the telemetry, setups, tutorials, and everything else you need to fully analyze your driving. Our data packs and the ability to compare your driving with the best in the world will show you exactly where to adjust your inputs, change your driving line, and shave seconds off of your lap times. And our powerful and precise Direct Force Pro wheelbase and precision pedals are being used by some of the world's best drivers. All these champions agree that VRS hardware is not just the best on the market, it's also priced well below the competition. So if you're looking to upgrade to direct drive and the best pedals in sim racing, VRS is your answer. If you want to get better, get faster, and make it happen sooner rather than later, you owe it to yourself to find out why so many people are switching to VRS. You'll be so glad that you did. Visit www.virtualracingschool.com and learn why the best use VRS.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are watching. Once again, race fans, and welcome to season number 3 of the TGR Nation Grand V Series. We go across the pond and to the Virginia International Raceway on the South variant. I'm Alexa Marshall, joined by Tristan Herbst as usual, and our producer in the background is Jim Cunningham. Of course, in the United States with a 1.61 mile track, 20-degree track temperature, 550 feet above sea level. Tristan, we're back for another week. This season really is kicking off, and it's getting even more interesting with each week that goes by.
Absolutely, and I mean, we're getting yet another track that we saw in Season 2 of the TGR Nation Grand V, which, if you can remember, provided quite a lot of interesting racing. Obviously, you know, it's a little bit of your not-so-standard track. As you can see on your track map, the track is about 50% compromised of a straight. So it means we get a lot of drafting and slipstreaming here in the Formula Vs. But from what we saw from previous season, it's looking to be a relatively good race here tonight. Also, if carrying over from last week's racing, it was a lot of action at Rutskogen. And from what we saw last week, the top 5 were completely shut down in terms of position, and they were on each other the entire time from start to finish. So we might be seeing similar actions here tonight. Lutzu, Rattray White, they're all here. A couple of the other drivers also here. I'm not too sure if we've seen Thomas yet, but let's hope he's here tonight. But definitely keen on seeing what all the drivers can do here on the South config of VIR.
Indeed it is. I mean, we've seen this calendar and we've seen this season. We've got a bit of time here, so let's go through your calendar for you to remind you of where we have been so far this season. Of course, we started at Oschersleben on the 11th of October, then Oran Park on the 18th. We went on the 25th of October to Summit Point. I had that off for my birthday. Thank you for the wishes, Adam. I forgot to say that before now. And Rudskogen last week. We go tonight to Virginia International Raceway South, but then we've got Charlotte, Okayama, Alton Park, Sugbach, Wild West Motor Park, Lime Rock Chicanes, and Laguna Seca to come the rest of the way of the season. So we are nearly at the halfway point of the season here, and that's definitely going to be the interesting part to think about, because we've also seen, unlike a bit of last season, Gianni Lutzu has been here for every single race, and it seems like he's been here a lot more consistently throughout the rest of it. So with Zach Rattray White being a two-time champion at the moment, but Gianni is really looking to vie for that and possibly can shut down a 3-for-3.
Definitely so. And I mean, like you mentioned, he's been here every single week and every single round for season number 3, and topping it off currently in the practice leaderboard with a 118.9. So just a couple of, actually not even a tenth, it's a couple of hundreds faster than Zach Rattray White for the time being. So it's still relatively close between the top 2 contenders. Obviously, Zach Rattray White will carry that entitlement and a little bit of the intimidation of being the 2-time reigning champion from season 1 and season 2. But what can you do heading into season 3? Because as we've seen, Alexa, there seems to be a little bit more competition in this season from what we saw in season 2. Obviously, season 1 we didn't really get much preview of, but obviously if Rattray White won in season number 1, he probably had a little bit of a dominating figure there as well. So it looks like he's lost that domination, and we've got a lot more figures to play with here in our top contending battle. Like we were speaking about, Lutsu is obviously here to show his worth and currently topping that practice leaderboard. Zach Rattray White will contest it. And then obviously Kopinski is also here. We've seen his speed and a couple of others. Christian Flag is also here. Sully Khan has been doing an incredible job in this previous couple of rounds in the season. And so it's going to be interesting to see what they can do yet again coming into qualifying for this next race. You've got just about 3 minutes or so left to practice, and that's the time that the drivers have got left to get themselves familiarized with the corners and just the speed of what they need to be taking around this track in the Formula V. It's not the most simple car to drive, and from feedback of what I can remember the last time we raced here, it wasn't also the easiest track to drive. We did see a couple of drivers missing those break points and, unfortunately touching the grass, and we were actually speaking about it before this session started, is that if you go off into the grass at this track, it's a very difficult recovery drive back, because as you can see from all the camera shots being provided by Jim, there is grass absolutely everywhere around this track. There's no gravel, there's no concrete to try and allow for a quick, easy recovery. You're going to be stuck in some very slippery grass, and in the Formula V it might be a bit of a tricky recovery.
Yeah, I mean, one thing that I think is going to alleviate to that as well is, like we heard in the interviews last week, especially with Zach and Gianni, it's very much a slipstream track. With this main straight down past the start-finish line, you're going to be in the tow, and that is what is going to be the major factor in this race, it seems. Looking for the slipstream is if you don't really have more... As that is, he's still going, he's still bouncing. And
that was a bit of a big one.
That was, oh my god. It's fluffing like a magic carpet there. Can we get a replay on that? Because what on earth? I know it's
it looked like someone someone just stopped in the middle of the track.
Zach slowed down, and that just... I need to see a replay of that, because that white V flopped like a magic carp there after it went round. But you see Zach on the right hand side. Thank God this is only free practice and not the race. But Zach just stops, and
it's a bit of a late reaction there from the white V, but also just I don't think he was expecting someone to just stop in the middle of the racing line, and in particular on the back straight where drivers can take the left or the right hand side. It's kind of their preference, and so Zach obviously just stopping on the racing line of that white Formula V, and just not enough reaction time, and there we go. We've seen the first magical Formula V, and qualifying hasn't even started.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen this throughout the season. That's another thing to point out, especially when people are going to be going side by side. You touch the suspension of another car, and round it goes. We're still on the replay here, as once again it goes boing, and thank God this is sim racing, because that would be really scary if that was real life. And well, it's there, flapping like a magic carp as it's on the grass. If you're a gamer, you know the references. As they do continue here, though, it is going to be coming towards the end of this. It is round number 5. I'm going to try and ensure that there is no playback, because I forgot I did not have my laptop muted for a second. I'm trying to see if I could get chat open, but my laptop is being a pain. But right now, we are looking at this. It is free practice. We're going to be getting qualifying going very, very shortly, as Checkered is now fallen in free practice, and Gianni Lutsu is up top with Zach Rattray White P2. Sean Gopinski, P number 3. Christopher Cassiano currently making his way around, but he stays P number 4. And Sully Khan, P number 5. Wait for it. Wait for the takeover. And it is green in pit lane. Tristan, qualifying is underway.
Yeah, so time for the drivers to stretch those legs now. They've had the time to practice and just familiarize themselves a bit with the car and the track. It was obviously here in Season 2, but it's been a bit of a time away from this track here as we head back into it in Season 3. Rattray White will come out of the pit lane to get himself going as fast as possible. And the drivers do have about 10 minutes to do 3 laps. That's all they've got, though, is 3 laps to do. And so, obviously, regardless of if those are valid or not valid laps, it's only 3 total laps around this track. So they have to make it count in those 3 laps to get a qualifying time up on this board. Otherwise, they might be starting a little bit further on towards the back of this grid. Remember, this is not a multiple heat race where we see some reverse grid action coming into play like we've seen on some previous Apex Racing TV series. This is a one-stop heat race, a one heat race, a single heat where the drivers have just got this one opportunity to score the most amount of points. So this qualifying session is extremely crucial for the drivers to get that Formula V going and make sure they are ready to get that race on with. But before we head a little bit further into our qualifying session, I think it's just great to mention the partnerships and sponsorships that have just been happening all over across here at the TGR Nation Grand V Series. So massive shout out to Lutsu Driver Performance. It's obviously run by Mr. Lutsu himself, Gianni, currently out on a outlap. And so providing the training that the drivers may need, he actually does specialized training as well in the Formula V, just for drivers to get a little bit more familiarized with the car. But he does obviously do every other type of car and track combo in iRacing. So if you're looking for a little bit of training, Gianni Lutsu, if you've watched a couple of the previous TGR Nation races, you'll know his name is pretty much up towards the top. So you know he's not messing around. So if you're looking for some training in some of the iRacing cars, head over to Lutsu Driver Performance. There's also Sambo iRacing, which provides some beautiful track guides out there on YouTube for you to learn a couple of the more complicated tracks around the iRacing game and environment. So if you're struggling with those tracks out there and whatever this week's rotation is, in the Formula V or any other car, make sure you head over to Sambo iRacing and get yourself familiarized with some of the tracks out there. Once again, massive thank you to those partnerships. But for the time being, we have just crossed the 2.5 minute time for qualifying. Nobody has gotten a timeout on the board yet. We'll have to keep our eyes peeled, though, for what these drivers can do.
Indeed, if you're new to iRacing or even the Formula Vs and you're wondering what the boxes are on the bottom, it is the driver name and their lap time that they are putting in. And you can see the little colours pop up. If it's a yellow box in that sector, it means no improvement. Green means personal improvement. And purple means session fastest. So let's find out when we come down towards the end of this. If you're like we said, you're watching live on Apex Racing TV, like, comment, subscribe, hit that bell for notifications to get notified every single time it goes live, as Sean Gopinski and Alan the Gassis are going to be right up there. But Gopinski is up at the top at the moment, 1 minute 19.585 is the time to beat at the moment. His team is fellow American P number 2 of Alan the Gassis. Sean Brooks and Wright sat P number 3 and 4 at the moment. With, I just realised something, we've got a checkerboard real quick, Tristan. Well, it's now been beaten by Toasters, but we had American, Canadian, American for a second.
Nice little jump around on the differentiation of the board, but it kind of still looks like a bit of a checkerboard. Never mind, Neil Handley comes and slots that Irish flag right in the middle of it, so it's completely broken the vision of what we once had. But still, we did have a little bit of a combination there, and the Brazilian obviously also have tossed us up into second. But Gopinski holding off nice and strong over there with the 119.5. It's a good 3/10 gap right now to toss this, but can he hold it? Because on board right now with Gianni Lutsu coming across to finish his first lap, he does have the fastest final sector. Will it be enough, though, to come into P1? And indeed it is. 119.337. That's a 2.5 gap up into first position. He goes. Sully Khan will also slot himself up into third position, just a little bit further behind Gopinski. But a great lap from him nonetheless. Christopher Castellano, a great lap from him as well. Up into second, he goes. Maroney is back in the driving action. We missed him last week at Ritskogen, but back in it now. Finishes, gets a qualifying lap into 12th position. Sweening gets himself into 8th position. But what a great lap from Castellano. Just 0.05 of a second to Gianni Lutsu. That's 5,000ths of a second difference between the top two right now. And so that is going to be quite an interesting dash onto the line. Unfortunately, Thomas is not here from last week, which is a super unfortunate one. Our race winner will not have participation in that points standing for this race. But if Rattray White wants anything to do with the lead of this race and holding on to his championship, he's going to need to put in that lap to get himself up there.
Indeed he is, and there is going to be the man, I believe, that is the one and only Zach Rattray White, as they make their way around the circuit at the moment. The number 17 holding on to it as Borowski puts himself up in a P number 4 with a 1 minute 19.705. Pit lane for Toasted, and right now around the final corner, what's Zach going to be able to do here? Session fastest in P in sector 1, personal fastest sector 2, personal fastest sector 3. Is it enough to put him up the board? Yes, it is, but only P number 2. However, it is too fat. Well, hold on, I'm doing maths here. If we look at that correctly, it is 20. In fact, no, it's under 20. It is
200.
going to be.
Yeah, it's 200ths of a second.
Numbers work. 1400ths of a second. Let's do numbers for a second. There we go. Because, God, it's amazing between these guys. Oh, their hair. They get so close sometimes. The Sully can't make his way around the circuit at the moment, as we wait to see where he is. He's making his way through. Christopher Flagg also on an improvement here. Going to be going down towards the line here, all the way towards the timing. What they could be able to do, personal fastest 1, fastest sector 2, personal sector 3, and that will only be P number 17 though. So, session fastest sector 2. Something must have happened in sector 1 or sector 3.
Yeah, definitely. I don't think you can get a session fastest and then plant yourself so far down on the leaderboard. I mean, I'd understand the top 5 somewhere with the fastest mid-sector, but that's definitely been a little bit of a fault from his side in sector 1 or sector 3, something that we might have missed here while watching the rest of the drivers on their qualifying laps. But, oh, look at that purple line. Gianni Lutsu, double sector 1 and 2 fastest of the session for the time being. Can he top it off with the fastest third sector? Indeed he can. It's a one long purple line. It's a 5/10 fastest on his current time, and that puts himself 5/10 ahead of Rattray White. What a massive gap he gives himself, and a little bit of breathing room here with about 2 minutes left of qualifying. What an absolutely dominating lap there from Lutsu, who drives himself even further up there into P1. So lovely breathing room he's given himself. Unfortunately, Borowski does face a little bit of that Virginia International Raceway grass that we've already spoken about being a little bit slippery and hard to recover from, but the green Formula V back on it. It's not going to be a fastest lap, unfortunately. He did have a personal best sector 1. Unfortunately, that second sector is going to be yellow indeed. And after that little spin around we had, and as you can see, it is yellow. Mark Schweening also unfortunately not able to gain any further time there. It's a double yellow, actually. It's a triple yellow on all 3 sectors there, so no improvement whatsoever from him. He'll remain in 10th position, and Alex Boubert-Bradley on board with him. Now he does have a personal best second sector. What can you do, though, coming into that final sector? Currently down in 17th, maybe hoping for something more. A little bit of grass being taken there in the Formula V. It looks like the lap is indeed still valid, but that might have ruined his timing a little bit there. So for Bradley, one of the final drivers on grid to get their lap times in, can he do it? It's not a fastest improvement in that final sector, and it doesn't look like it's going to move him up onto that timing board, unfortunately. So Bradley will stay 17th. Borowski also still out on track.
That's going to be how it sits at the moment, with just over a minute remaining on the qualifying clock. Usually, we see it all season. Most drivers will have their lap times done. It's just going to be going and Bradley. Bradley now returns to the pit lane. So it's just Todd Going now, who will be looking for a lap time here, it seems. Going to be making his way around 125.6 at the current moment through the right-hander. There it is predicted. Is there going to be anything different? Making their way all the way to the line. P number 22 at the moment. Is there any improvement? Where will he go across the board? It's P number 14, 1 minute 20.
Oh, great jump.
0.491. That's a very good jump there up the leaderboard. So now, who is going to be able to take the full advantage, because something's going to give, or maybe that is it, as the checkered is 20 seconds away.
Yeah, I didn't even realize it now. Producer actually made a joke in the background when we switched to Todd Going. He said, "Where is he going?" And I'm like, "What are you talking about?" And I realized it's actually the surname. He's, well, I'll tell you where he is going. He's going up into the top 15, and that's exactly what he's done from 22nd to 14th. One of the best jumps we've seen today so far. And great minimalization on that lap time for himself. And what a stinger of a lap there for Todd Going. But for the time being, it looks like that is going to be our qualifying session done. It is still a couple of time ticking there. And there we have officially switched over to our 30-minute race session. I'll be taking you through the first page, and then Alexa will be taking you through the second. But Gianni Lutsu from the Vatican City will be sitting in P1, with Zach Rattray-White just a little bit further behind in second. Christopher Castellano pushes himself nicely into the third position slot, with Sean Gapinski finishing off that second row. Adrian Browski in fifth, with Rodrigo Tostas in sixth position. Sully Khan will take seventh, with Alan DeGassis down in eighth. Rob Wright in ninth, with Mark Schweening in 10th. Scott Brooks in 11th, with Neil Handley in 12th.
P number 13 goes to Zenkar in the row, and then it's Todd Going and P number 14. P15 goes to Ken Poolen with Daniel Taylor, P number 16. Nathan Maroney, P17 with Alex Bluebear Bradley, P number 18. It's then Christian Flagg and Matthias Marin to round out the top 20. Michael Thiessen sits P number 21 with Hayden Cummings, P22, and Kirk Stanley in P23. That is your grid order. Still a few to hop on the grid, it seems, but it is no gantry here. It is only a marshal with a flag. No, we're not related. As we look to the marshal in that stand on the left-hand side, you have no idea how many times I've heard that joke, Tristan. Sometimes it's not fun. As they
Good joke.
There's so many fans on those hills. There's no grandstand here either, so really it is a race for the fans. Like I said, no gantry, only a marshal, one more driver to hop on, two drivers actually to hop on the grid here. So how are they going to take this opportunity? Ice to the marshal on the left hand side of the track. It is all to play for with Lutsu on pole. Green flag drops, so we are racing. That's a good start there for Lutsu, but Rodrigo Tostes gets an absolutely horrible start as they continue down towards the first corner. Slipstream and Toe already going to be kicking in, but here comes Zach Rattray-White on Gianni Lutsu. Going to be looking for the inside line into the right-hander, and he is going to dive it on the inside. The Toe coming into effect. Zach Rattray-White takes the lead at turn number one. Everybody else filing through pretty cleanly. Casio, Gapinski, Borowski all staying where they were. Sully Khan, Alan DeGassis and Mark Schweening got one position. Already up three is going to be Nathan Maroney. He's got some good positions on the start here, but we head towards the back end of the circuit. Something's happened with Alan DeGassis. That's a massive wreck. Michael Thiessen, DeGassis, Wright, Brooks, all of them falling down the order. So what on earth has happened in the background while we were watching the leaders here? Meatball for Schweening, Meatball for Wright. You have got to imagine what happened through that left-hander. Something, maybe a collision, but it seems like majority of the grid is still going. You see the dirt and the sky getting thrown into the air. That's not going to help the atmosphere at the end of the day, and it's not going to help the warming either. Down the inside now, looking for the move is going to be the car. That's going to be nice and tidy. Matt Wright trying to get past Screening as well, both with meatballs though. They're going to have to pit. That's the end of lap number one. Zach Rattray-White leads, followed by Gianni Lutsu, and then Christopher Castellano, but Lutsu going to get that lead down the main straight.
A pretty action-packed first lap that we saw there. I saw the timing tower just completely shifting over there. Rob Wright completely falling down the order, as well as Alan DeGassis and Michael Thiessen. So something definitely happening over there. It's a total of 12 positions down for DeGassis, Wright, and Schweening, and all of them currently into that pit lane to get those fixes made. Rodrigo Tostas actually didn't even start on the grid, which is why we saw him drop down so fast. He just didn't get onto the grid in time, so super unfortunate. But here's a bit of a replay of what happened. There's a dive there from Zen Carr, and oh my goodness, that's where all the collision just comes into play. Rob Wright sees a little bit of the blue sky over there as his V decides to point 60 degrees up in the air. And off the track he goes, and that's where the meatball flag has also come from. That was Schweening, sorry, who made that incident, not Zen Carr. It's a couple of pink cars we have on grid. We've got Lutsu, Schweening, and Zen Carr, all with a couple of the pink cars, but that is indeed Schweening. And up there goes Rob Wright, and just a couple of jumpers not able to avoid the collision. And Alan DeGassis just, unfortunately, passenger there, the number 11, Just nothing he can do about that one, as Lutsu taking a very aggressive outside line there. That might have been an X there. He's got to watch out for that one. But for the time being, Rattray White has not been able to catch up just as yet. But here we go, the inaugural VIR South slipstream. As it comes down that back straight, you can see the amount of time being gained there from Rattray White, and Lutsu falling off a lot. What's going on with Lutsu? That doesn't look like a normal slipstream overtake. And Lutsu unfortunately loses out over 4 positions here. Cassiano, Gapinski, and Borowski all getting up into that top 4 position. Let's just go back and have a bit of a look here. So here's Lutsu just in front still. And this is coming into your final double right-hander before the main straight here at VIR South. And coming through, that's obviously where he just touches the rear onto the dirt. But this didn't look like a standard loss of speed due to slipstream. It looked like he kind of let go of the throttle a little bit here. As you can see, holding on the right side. The rest of the train tries to follow. And Rattray White going onto the left-hand side. And maybe it was just a good... No, that's definitely a slowdown of sorts. He definitely lifted something up there or decided to bring the car in. But letting all 4 drivers pass down to 5th position, unfortunately, for Lutsu. And now he'll have to play the recovery game. So Rattray White will lead from Cassiano to Gapinski. And that is your top 3. Neil Hanley fighting strong with Kirk Stanley. And what a recovery drive from Kirk Stanley. Started last in this race, already 9 positions up and fighting in the top 15 with Neil Hanley. Not too sure if he's going to be able to keep onto the back of him. Matthias Marin just behind is also 4 positions up in this race, and quite a lot of squabbling going on in the backside over here. Maroney's also involved a little bit further, and that's Michael Thiessen down in 17th. And so loads of action up and down this grid. You can see it on your live timings tower where you see an orange number. It means cars are just within a good amount of distance to make overtakes. And there's a double overtake. Taylor goes up on the likes of DeGassis, and Marin gets up on Thiessen and Hanley. So incredible amounts of work being done in the background. But for the time being, Christian Flagg holds on strong from the rest.
Well, positions up is Daniel Taylor. So this is something, the Indonesian driver actually, going to be making the way down. And yep, way too late on the brakes, hits the grass, around it goes. And Formula V, as it always does, not going left, not going right, just going to spin on its placement. And that is that, and that is the end of it at the day. That is 12 positions up there for the American of Christian Flagg. Of course, a very American-dominated grid, but you got some Canadians. You got the Kiwi of Zach Rattray White. You got the man from the land down under of Maroney. You got the German of Schweening, and you've got plenty others in this fight as well. It's great to see so many nationalities as we look on Christopher Cassiano, as we look through the rear end. We love this camera here in TGR because it just provides a proper look at the other cars behind and how much they close in. You can see the slipstream there for Sean Gapinski, and it's going to be the left-hand side that Christopher Cassiano will decide to opt to go for, and he's going to get it here. But Zach Rattray White's going to have that inside line. Is there going to be a move here on the inside? Yes, there will be from Sean Gapinski. That was contact there with Cassiano. Cassiano catching the car as it went off to the left-hand side.
Yeah, super unfortunate there from Cassiano. We'll get a bit of a replay there. That was quite a hectic squabble coming down into the first right-hander on T number 1. And just a little bit of wheel bumping there that looked to be with Gapinski and Borowski. And so dropping off just a little bit further behind. Lutsu has been able to recover 1 position after his drop-off. And now just onto the backside of Adrian Borowski, already taking a nice dive into the next corner. And Lutsu will reclaim that 3rd position on the podium spot. Now right behind the likes of Sean Gapinski and trying to get up towards his rival of Rattray White in P number 1. And you can just see the speed being carried by Lutsu, trying to find the distance and already trying to pop himself up into 2nd position on the outside line, though. Will he be able to swing it around? And indeed he does, right around the outside nose there of Gapinski, and just avoiding any form of contact. And once again in a similar position he's always been in, chasing down on Rattray White in P number 1. The train, though, the fight is mainly at the back, though, as Cassiano trying to recover from the little bit of a squabble he's had, trying to push onto the back now of Gapinski. Borowski has pulled over left, trying to break that slipstream, but will it be enough? Coming into T number 1, it's almost 3 wide here, and who is going to take it? Cassiano doesn't look like he's going to get in front just as yet. Borowski holding onto the outside line is at risk of losing a position, and indeed it looks like he is going to lose it to Cassiano. If he can't hold on into this next left-hander, looks like he's going to be able to manage it. Sully Khan trying to hold on to the backside of this 5-way fight, and will try and maybe gain a bit of beneficial downside here if something goes on between the top runners over here. As you can see, Cassiano getting very aggressive onto the backside of Borowski, and something might happen in the next coming lap. So keep your eyes peeled on this top 5 fight. It looks like it's a similar fight from what we saw at Rutskogen, which is what we absolutely love to see, the constant action. But for the time being, Rattray White running away with a 1.4 second gap. Doesn't look like he's going to be contender just as of yet, but also make sure you keep your eyes peeled towards the back end of this grid. Bradley's on the backside of Carr and Poland on the backside of Moroni. But for the time being, can he get a better exit? Borowski on Gapinski.
End of a toe, looking at the gearbox, trying to give it a little whiff. Looks for the right-hand side. Going to be onto the grass here, very close. Good defending here from Sean Gapinski, but looking for the right, looking for the left. Will opt for the left-hand side, Will Borowski. As you see the Hornet, the V, the black and yellow on the right-hand side. Around the outside now for Borowski. Trying to hold on to it is the Polish driver. Going to run it wide, keep the 2 tyres on the circuit. He does keep it in a straight line. Looking now down the inside of that's going to be Borowski. Past Gapinski, but look who's arrived on the scene. Cassiano is back in this fight. He's picked up that position to get past Sean Gapinski. Sully Khan also now onto the back of this. So it is going to be the 2 Americans versus a Brit versus a Polish. Now, looking for these corners as they're fighting as they continue throughout these corners. It's a Pole who leads this fight with the Americans of Cassiano and Gapinski behind, and then Sully Khan just behind them. Looking for the outside now is Christopher Cassiano, but they're going to be coming onto this main straight again through the right-hander. A little bump over the curb, but nice and tidy for the time being. It's pedal to the metal, foot to the floor.
Yeah, it's a flag that's very easily confused, but thankfully for us here at the TGR Nation, we've actually got both the nationalities that utilize the exact same flag, but just flip, because we do have Daniel Taylor with the identical flag basically to Borowski. It's just the other way around. So that's the Indonesian flag, and Borowski is the Polish flag. So the Poland driver now losing out to the 3rd position slot, just being pushed away, and he's really got to start watching out from behind, because Sully Khan is starting to push onto the backside of Gapinski, and that fight for 3rd position is slowly starting to grow ever more wary as Lutsu has run away now. 1.6 second gap between himself and Cassiano, and he is slowly starting to close the gap to Rattray White. It was 1.4 seconds a couple laps back, now 1.2 seconds. Thiessen and Taylor continuously switching though for the battle for 15th. It's obviously going through a corner. Someone's holding the outside and the other the inside, as we see it yet again changing. But for Solomon Khan, you can see him pretty focused on towards the backside of this top 5 fight, trying to find any form of gain of advantage he can in this top 5 battle. The Hornet just a little bit further in front. I got to say, one of the cooler liveries we see out here from a couple of the plainer liveries, we see the Hornet rocking a very customized design, and it often represents how the V drives. It's a Hornet. It can sting you if you're not careful, but it can sting others if you know how to use it. And so Gapinski trying to hold on, grabs a little bit of gravel there on the outside line that might sacrifice his top speed. But here, once again, similar position from what we saw just a lap back. Borowski on the outside of Cassiano this time, and not Gapinski. But they've got to watch out, because look at the Hornet just behind. It's going to be 3 wide going into turn number 1. Oh, Gapinski decides not to risk it, and Cassiano will hold onto that inside line. Borowski might lose out, though, from Gapinski. He's got to watch out. He's taking a little bit of gravel, though. And now Gapinski onto the outside line, coming into the next corner. Solomon Khan has made it a 3-way, now 2-on-2 fight into the next corner. And this is getting super risky for the drivers, as Borowski trying to gain advantage over Gapinski yet again. And what great racing we're seeing here today. Oh, a little bit of a tire barrier touch there between Borowski and Gapinski, and Solomon Khan gains a quick position there. Exactly what I was talking about, looking for that advantage, and he found it up into 4th place, up into 5th place for Solomon Khan.
Nice and tidy. Taylor and Thiessen still fighting further back, but Sully Khan trying to make his way through now. The British driver looking for another position, puts it up in a 4th. Now, looking to deny it though, wheel to wheel, side by side. Borowski's going to be on the inside, the pole, looking to get the move done, which he does nice and cleanly. But Sully looking under that rear, well, no rear wing on these cars. So, blipping in the background there for the Hornet. So, maybe stinging a little too hard, but now Sean Gapinski still on the background there. I heard that nervous laughter as that was now towards turn number 1. Sully Khan right there. Borowski now looking for it as well. Through the right-hander, though, it is pretty even as Ken Poolen going to get past Nathan Maroney, the Australian, losing out to the American driver. You've also got Alex Boubert Bradley in P number 11, who's going to be on the back of that fight. So we've got a four-way fight here for P number 3. However, I will say this, it's down to 3 temps between the top two. Zach Rattray White, the Kiwi, currently going to be defending from the Vatican City driver of Gianni Lutsu. One position down since the race start is Gianni, but now they're going to be going again, wheel to wheel, fighting for tooth and nail. We are nearly at the halfway mark, but on the inside, a lot tighter line there for Gianni. Is he going to be able to hold on to it as they look for the right-hander, but still not enough time? Zach Rattray White is going to hold on to it, but down onto the main straight as Borowski is going to get past Christopher Cassiano a little bit further back. It's going to come into play now. It's going to be the slipstream and the toe. Which side is he going to go on? He's going to go on the left-hand side. Gianni Lutsu looking to take the lead back of this race. Down in towards the braking zone. Inside or outside, as what option does he want here at Virginia International Raceway on the south layout? Is it going to be a bit deep, though? It looks like it will be. Or is it tactical up and under for Gianni? But unfortunately not going to work out. He now has to go side by side, looking through the left-hander. Zach Rattray White is going to be right there with him. Down and through, letting Gravity do a bit of the work, looking for any chance to get past. But Zach is putting on a stellar defense here.
Yeah, absolutely incredible work there from Rattray White and trying to show that reigning championship dominance there. Unfortunately, he has lost that gap that he was so desiring for, that good old 1.4 second gap he was holding from behind, and Lutsu has completely eradicated it, and down into second position he comes and trying to push and shove. And it's very similar deja vu to what we saw from the last time around at VIR South, because the two of them were indeed racing. It was one of the couple races that Gianni Lutsu could attend with his real life racing calendar. But like we spoke about already, for season number 3, he seems to be a lot more prominent this season, and now trying to push and shove yet again. Alongside he goes with an epic camera angle on the front nose of Zach Rattray White, and the hope is slipping away here as he starts to lose the position this early on into the main straight. And it looks like it's going to be Gianni Lutsu's to claim into turn number 1. The switchback attempt, though, from Rattray White, trying to look onto the inside line and force him wide yet again. What is going to be the action plan here? But Rattray White not going to have enough time to force Lutsu wide. Borowski gets in front of Cassiano, though. Up into third position he goes. But for the time being, this is our main fight around the track. Bradley gets up into 9th position from Maroney. Oh, a little bit of slip and slide coming there from Lutsu. But he's already starting to pull a little bit of a gap there from Rattray White, just taking a couple of the corners a little bit better. And 3/10 of a gap already between the two. Can Gianni Lutsu now keep it going strong for the next 15 minutes as we've just crossed over the halfway mark and leading on this race strong? The two rivals that we've seen across the board for this season currently are yet again neck and neck at each other, trying to show dominance. And now Rattray White contending yet again onto the inside line. Looks like he's gotten a much better line, and back up into first goes. A double switch around for Gianni Lutsu, trying to confuse his opponent. It's not going to work out, though, as Rattray White sits in the center completely unhindered and sits remaining in P number 1. Can he break the slip, though? You can see him slowly starting to weave and break the slipstream advantage that Lutsu can gain on this back straight. And this is incredible racing that we're seeing from the top two. The skill is being shown of how to switch back and how to break and how to force your opponent into a difficult situation. Both of them showing the age and skill, and it is an incredible fight to watch. With another 15 minutes of this is going to be an exciting race.
No IndyCar drivers to get in the way of these two, like at Oran Park. They are free to fight left and right. But you've also got this fight, the battle for P number 3 technically. It's Borowski, Gopinski, Cassiano and Sully Khan, who are all in this fight, battling for P number 3, that final place on the podium tonight. Are they going to get into it? We'll find out at the end, but it's going to be a fight for the ages. You've also got the battle for P number 8. That's Bradley, Poulin, Maroney and Carr, all to fight each other. So further down the order, it's going to be a battle for the ages no matter where you're at on circuit. It's honestly, props to our producer, because he's been able to catch almost all of it as we continue through the right-hander and onto the main straight again. But This is the thing between these drivers, as it looks like the leaders, the SDR, you can see him just there, Gianni Lutsu is going to move to the right-hand side. You can also see in the background Sully Carr and etc. It's Lutsu who is going to be up into the position, but is he going to be able to hold it on the outside line? Zach Rattray White is going to go for the inside line, back and forth like they have been entirety of this race, up and under maybe for Gianni Lutsu, but nothing in the moment. You see the little stands where the marshals watch. They have got the perfect view of this race. I can only imagine how loud these cars must be though when they fly by. Looking for the right, looking for the left, but maybe picking up a bit of grass there. Ken Poulin gets past Alex Boubert Bradley a little bit further back, but it seems like Lutsu, even though he's good in sector 1 and 3, as he is going to dive it down the inside here, and he is going to keep it. I take my words back. It seemed like he was struggling a bit in sector number 2, but he's just got to prove me wrong. Zach Rattray White is now going to go wheel to wheel, side by side with him here, going into the left-hander and towards the start-finish line again.
Yeah, this is some incredible driver knowledge being shown from the top two. I mean, the amount of switch-arounds we've seen from Lutsu this race has already surpassed the amount we've seen this entire series so far. So VIR South seems to be proving as a real challenge between the rivals here as to who can take the advantage. It's bumper, it's front nose to gearbox. Every situation we're seeing as we get to the start-finish straight. And I'm not even going to call it yet that, you know, X driver is going to take the lead, because it's just constant switching between these two. Rattray is going to lose it now, but he might gain it into the couple of the next corners, and yet again switching around once again, taking the inside line into turn number 1. Can he carry that advantage over? Lutsu will gain a little bit more of a speed advantage on the outside loop, but completely blocked off from Rattray White. And what a great defensive maneuver there to regather P1 of this race. And oh, a little bit of a mistake there from the Hornet. Sully Khan has gotten quite an easy overtake up into P number 5. He goes. Gapinski gets forced wide. A little bit of traction loss, it looked like, coming onto the downhill there. And Sully Khan will take it very nicely. A big thank you from him. Up into 5th he goes. Now chasing onto the backside of the white Formula V of Cassiano. But we got to give some love to the further back cars. Bradley now fighting onto the backside of Zenkai. Just loses out there. Maroney, not where we usually see him. We usually see him fighting quite high up there. But down in 9th, currently fighting with Ken Polan in 8th position. And it's been constant switching around for Bradley, as we've seen him the whole night so far, just switching around with the likes of Taylor, and now with Carr, and now with Maroney. Lutsu yet again takes that P1 position, but don't bet your bucks on it just yet, because Rattray will probably come back to try and take it. We've still got a good 10 minutes or so of racing, and so do not throw that bet away just as of yet as to who of these two will take it in. Remember, we've seen them collide as well very late into certain races where drivers have lost complete running in those final dire moments of aggression. So don't throw away anything just as of yet, because currently it is completely undecided as to which of these two will take the win here tonight. Khan is still fighting on relatively hard with Gapinski, and my goodness, the aggression just shown from Lutsu. You can see that pink nose shoved into every camera angle being provided over here, trying to get it past the black, red, and white V just a little bit further in front of him, and trying to seize any opportunity he can. The number 58, you can see it, trying to wind around, find the best line here. Will it be another switch around though for Lutsu coming through that final sector of the track? It looks like for the time being he's going to sit a little bit dormant though behind Rattray White.
You never know until it's over. I'll cast your mind back as he's going to go for another move here. Back and forth, back and forth. Cast your mind back to last season when we were last here. Final lap, final corner. Gianni Lutsu would end up getting a penalty, which would end up costing him the entirety of the race. Let's hope that doesn't happen again tonight, but they are battling like there is no tomorrow. But don't forget, there is an incident limit, and we know what iRacing can be like if you get a bit too much trading paint. However, it seems like they're going pretty clean tonight down in towards the braking zone. Very, very deep there for Zach Rattray White, but he's going to cut it back under. Looks for the move, but nothing there in the moment. Sean Gapinski gets past Cassiano, but now Cassiano past Gapinski. Looking for these drivers, the Eclipse Sim Sport driver, the Kiwi, looking for the move as he goes through the corners again, all across these curbs, looking left and right, thinking, where can I get this move done? Where can I slip by? you never know at the end of the day, because each line may be different. 8 minutes left on the clock. Don't change that channel. You're watching live on Apex Racing TV. Like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell for notifications to get notified every single time we go live, because this is going to be free abreast down the main straight. Michael Thiessen just about holding on to this one in towards the braking zone. Michael Thiessen, right, the gas is all over the place. Nice and tidy. Oh, onto the grass goes one of the drivers. That was Thiessen who went deep, and that is not what you want, especially in a corner like that. 3 wide into a hairpin. You never... he's really questioning it, as Alex Boo-Bear Bradley and Zenkar are going to be fighting this one as well. Alex Boo-Bear Bradley, 8 positions up since this race start. Kirk Stanley up 10, and up 12 is Christian Flagg.
You gave a little bit of a commentator's curse there to Michael Thiessen. All was good and clean, and then as soon as you said it, he decided to eat some grass for breakfast and take that Formula V for some off-roading. But the race continues as normal. Down in 19th position, he will unfortunately have to sit for now. But back onto this top fight, you better not get sick of these two, because it's going to be on the camera shots for quite a lot of time for these next 7 minutes, because this is where it gets crucial between the two of these drivers. And like Alexa was mentioning, last season at this specific track, on the final corner, final lap, Lutsu got a penalty on that outside corner, and we've seen him exceeding that corner a little bit too much here tonight. We've seen him take a little bit of gravel on the left-hand side, and that is going to give him a penalty, 1x, and unfortunately a couple too many X's, and he is going to receive himself a drive-through penalty, or the black flag in iRacing, which will completely kill off his run here to fight for that P1 position. So we're hoping that doesn't happen yet tonight. As you can see, both of them completely mounting that green curb. So that is still within track limits. But if you go any further than that, like touching the gravel, unfortunately, you're going to have an X next to your name. And I'm telling you now, Lutsu will be facing a couple of X's, and Ratro White as well. Yet again, look at how close they place the suspension to each other. It's almost making a 3-wheeler here, as Ratro White's front axis tries to plant in between the 2 axes of Gianni Lutsu's car. But unfortunately for him, he does lose out yet again, coming down into that turn 1, bottom left, bottom right hand, and it's still so much fighting going on as well. A little bit further behind, Borowski is currently sitting in a bit of no man's land, but for Gapinski, Khan, and Cassiano, it is completely undecided as to who's going to take that final spot of this 4th position. Unfortunately, Borowski has run away a little bit from these 3, and so will sit comfortably for that 3rd position. It's the same though further down, as Nathan Maroney try his absolute hardest to fight onto the backside of Bradley and Poland and Carr. All 4 of them still sitting in a very good contention fight here for 8th position, and it's going to be the crucial part of the race now. We've got 5 minutes left on the clock. De Gas is trying to recover from the incident in lap number 1, as well as Wright just behind him. Both of them involved quite heavily. Sweening was also involved, as you can see. All the drivers involved in that lap 1 incident relatively far down on this pack. Thiessen was also involved, and so down in 18th he currently lies. But for the rest of the grid, the fighting still continues for the next 5 minutes.
Freeway fight for P4. And is now going down in towards the braking zone. Oh, almost very close there. Maybe a little bit of a lockup, but keeping it nice and tidy. Lutsu making his way through. Sully Khan is also there. Cassiano also. Sully Khan now. It's really a fight between those 3 in the background, because, oh my god, are they vying and jostling for these positions. Constantly is going to go 3 wide for a moment. Well, that's going to be Sully Khan, who is going to be on the outside line. Is he going to get him through here? Nathan Maroney, the man from Milan down under, making the move on Bradley further back. But Gapinski and Sully Khan, wheel to wheel, side by side, into all... it's very... God, it's always... It always looks scary when it's just surrounded by greenery like it is tonight. You know, that one wrong move and it is going to be the end of it as you continue towards Oak Tree, the final corner at this circuit. Sully Khan now wheel to wheel, looking to get past Kapinski. It looks like it's going to be Cassiano who has opened up that gap a bit now. You can see him already flying off ahead, but Sully Khan is going to back out. He wants to keep it nice and clean, and now try to line it up properly. Get the run out of Oak Tree, because this is what can happen. Once again, Sully Khan, Zach Rattray Whiteley fighting for the lead as Taylor picks up a black flag, Marin with a slowdown as well. So, that is how those two are fighting, but we've got 3 minutes, 2 seconds left on the clock. You cannot guess how this is going to end.
No, I don't think anybody can guess how this is going to end, especially now that that element has been played. The first black flag has been issued here for Daniel Taylor, and so that means he's going to have to go for a drive-through penalty through the pit lane. Thankfully, it is not the longest pit lane that we could see. Imagine this was Belgium at Spa. Well, then you're pretty much done for this entire race. So that extremely long pit lane in a car like this, but thankfully for Taylor, it isn't the longest pit lane. But if something like that were to happen to Rattray White or Lutsu, that completely kills the chance for that win at the top. Taylor goes in to serve that black flag penalty. And now this is where the drivers have to become very crucial of their actions, especially when they begin to battle into these final 2 minutes now, because this is where it's going to be whoever has the lead into that final corner will hopefully be able to keep it with the slipstream. But if they exceed that track limit a little bit too much, you can see them rubbing on close to the edge of that and almost getting a couple more X's to their name. But as you can see, driving down towards this, if that was the final lap, that would have been Lutsu's to take. Yes, Rattray White does get in front, but just not enough time for him to get in front before that checkered flag. It does happen quite early on that back straight, just there by the marshal's hut. And so you do want to have your car in front on the exit of the final corner. Oak Tree is what it is called. And so if you do not have your car in front on that corner exit of Oak Tree, well, you might have a very difficult one trying to recover it. But with just about a minute and a half racing left, the white flag is going to be waved soon, so keep your eyes peeled for that. But for the time being, Lutsu will sit in second position. Rattray White is going to try his absolute best now to keep the purple Formula V at bay. Nathan Maroney pulls up into 8th position. Bradley has lost out a couple of positions as well. Zen Carr moves up as well. And so a couple of actions going on there in the back. You can see from 9th all the way to 13th, it's just orange figures on the live timings tower, just representing that fight is completely open for positions to be made, because everybody is under 5/10 of each other. And so anything can happen at that point. But the most important fight is the one we are watching just up in front there. Snapping back though to the back, you can see how chaotic it is still, and the battle for 9th is definitely open.
I'll never say never. It is white flag flying. There is not much time left on the clock. Gianni Lutsu, Zach Rattray White. It's this one final time. They battle all season. They battle tonight. Down towards turn number 1. Into the right-hander, which takes you onto the south course. And you will not reach NASCAR Bend. But it is, either way, you are fighting tooth and nail. Trying to hop under the toe like it is an oval. Maybe just trying wheel to wheel, side by side. Choosing to fight against each other. It's all to play for. It's all a choice. But Zach Rattray White does hold on to this. You are going for this left and right, choosing what to do. It is through and through. You will drive past the villas eventually. But now, one more time, heading around this circuit, you see the longer layout in the background of your screen. There's the villas on the right-hand side. But now, here comes Lutsu, looking for this, down into Oak Tree. Marin picks up the black flag, so that's that for them. But wheel to wheel, side by side, is it going to be a drag race? Yes, it will be. Who's it going to be? Rattray White, Gianni Lutsu, all the way to the line, the wheel to wheel. Zach just about gets it by 16 thousandths of a second over the Vatican City driver. Is the Kiwi on top with the pole P number 3. Cassiano came out in the battle, but we'll talk about that in a moment, because we still got this fight happening in the background. Alex Boo-Bear Bradley going to lose out to Ken Poulin here, as they're going to be fighting through these final corners. Is Ken going to pull an absolute masterclass here? No, he's not. He's going to lose too much time at the final corner. He could end up losing to Brooks here, which he will, all the way to the line. Going to go for a square. That is the checkered Michael Feasting getting past Cummings on the final lap. And now this is Rob Wright and Alan DeGassis, but Wright is just a little bit too far behind. But like I said, the Kiwi of Zach Wright wins, followed by Lutsu and then Borowski. In the battle for P number 4, it would be Cassiano who came out ahead. Zenkar, P number 8, ahead of the rest of that battle. We'll get your full grid order. Well, grid order will get your full results up for you when this race does end up getting the full checkered, because we got Daniel Taylor and Matthias Marin yet to come to the line.
Yeah, what an incredible finish. And I mean, we predicted that something like that was going to happen between the top two. 16 hundredths of a second differentiate the two. And I mean, that was literally a drag race. And I mean, you saw what the producer did there. He made it a little bit of a sly one for you to see. He pulled that camera so far away so that it was a bit of a surprise one. But what a great defensive move there for the likes of Rattray White to keep himself. We've got a bit of a replay here from Matthias Marin. I think this might have been his track limit extension, and that indeed was where he got the black flag penalty, possibly. This is the fight. As you can see, how close was this? And like I was speaking about it, whoever's got the lead coming out of the out of this double right-hander is gonna grab that win. And this was so close. Lutsu tried to get a slightly better exit, and coming down to that checkered flag, you can see how close those two tires are. But it was just enough for Rattray White to claim P1 with his rival just ever so close behind and threatening to take the win away. But what a great win there from our reigning champion.
Indeed it is, and this is your final classification here at Virginia International Raceway South. It's Zach Rattray White, the Kiwi, who wins here tonight by 14 thousandths of a second. Johnny Lutsu from Vatican City sits in P number 2 with Adrian Borowski, P number 3. Christopher Cassiano then sits P number 4 with Sean Gapinski, P number 5. Sully Khan, P6 with Christian Flagg, P number 7. Zenkar, P8. Alex Boubert Bradley 9, and Scott Brooks in 10th. Ken Poulin then sits P number 11 with Nathan Maroney, P number 12. Kirk Stanley, P13 with P14 going at Alan Degassis. You then get Rob Wright in P number 15 with Hayden Cummings in P16. Michael Feast in P17 with Mark Schweening in P number 18. P number 19 then goes to Daniel Taylor and Matthias Marin at P number 20. One lap behind would be Neil Hanley, and then the non-finishers are Todd Going and Rodrigo Toastes. As of course, Rodrigo didn't take the line. We've got 2 interviews right now, and I'll let you take this one first, Tristan. It is Gianni Lutsu. Gianni Lutsu, you are live on Apex Racing TV.
Hey guys,
Welcome
how you going? You right?
Yeah, doing great. Thanks to you, man. I mean, let's just have a bit of a chat about that race. What a close one it was down to the line. I mean, just talk us through those final couple of corners coming out of Oak Tree.
Yeah, no, it's I knew it was going to be close. I think it was a lot of the time trying to run myself through just particular situations that I could try and position myself into, potentially be in the best spot to try and win the race there, obviously. But I kind of misinterpreted maybe where I wanted to be coming onto the final lap, and maybe thought that being ahead on the final lap might have been a little bit better, but like I said, just mispositioned coming onto the final straight there, and got held around the outside into one, and then had to sit behind for the whole lap. But we were close, but at the end of the day, 1400s was what the result was in the end. But look, nonetheless, really fun race. I think, look, great points, and that's all we can really ask for. So it was fun. I think it was interesting to do a lot of interesting passing with Zach. So we both had a good time, and well done to everyone else for a good result too.
And I mean, just before you head off, I mean, just talk us through that. I think it was lap 1 or lap 2 on the back straight over there. You obviously got a bit of a slipstream attack there from Zach, but then you just started to fall off completely, and you lost about 4 positions going into turn number 1. Was that planned? I mean, just talk us through that a bit.
Look, I saw Sully was sitting there just on the edge of the draft, and I said, you know what, let me try and go and pick him up and bring him back into the fight. And then I just heard now that he apparently had a little bit of rig issues. He had a few bolts loose, so he was trying to tighten them up on the fly. So I was like, you know what, I'll bring Sully back into the fight a little bit, and make it interesting for him too, so he's not stuck by himself. So it was kind of planned. I saw it, and I was like, you know what, I'll give a little bit of a kind gesture, because I knew it was just going to be half an hour of just sitting with Zach and trying to do something. So I was like, okay, I'll make it a bit of a I guess, bit of a harder task to get back through and everything like that. But yeah, in the end, we had a good 15 minutes of battling. So yeah, it was really, really good.
A great little bit of sportsmanship being shown there. It's a nice little thing to bring him back into the fight. But congratulations on taking second place. And like you mentioned, it's a very, very tough one to see your opponent win by such a small margin, but it is still great points on the board. Is there anything you'd like to say or mention before you head out for tonight?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, it's always hard when it's so close. But look, yeah, at the end of the day, big props to Zach. He always has a good race with myself, and we always have a good time. So yeah, big props to him. Thank you for you guys putting on a great broadcast as always. Always a privilege to be able to go back and view things and yeah, see how things go from a third person. Of course, to Sally and Matthias for holding everything as they always do. We wouldn't be able to do it without them. And I guess a shout out to my brand, Lutsu Drive Performance, that sponsors the series. If anyone's ever interested in getting any driver coaching, need any help in finding that extra little bit of time, I know a few of the guys in the race tonight definitely have come on board, and they always find a really big benefit. So yeah, if you're ever interested, check out my website at lutsudriveperformance.com, and yeah, we can get in touch and sort something out. So yeah, thank you guys again, and yeah, we'll try again next week.
Incredible stuff. Hope you have a fantastic night further, man.
Thank you guys. Cheers, everyone.
Cheers. So that was Mr. Gianni Lutsu. I'm going to bring in Mr. Zach for you now. Zach Rattray-White, welcome into the commentary box. You are live on Apex Racing TV.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Oh, Zach, we know how this went. We saw it right in the end there. We just asked Gianni, let's ask you, what was it like at those final few corners? What was going through the mind?
I think it's pretty much what he said. I thought that it was going to be a much bigger advantage to be leading on the last lap, because we found that you couldn't really, cut back and get a better exit. But these cars are just so underpowered, and it kind of showed with the tow how powerful it was. I think there's a couple of times that we came back from like half a second on one straight and passed them. So, yeah, it was close, a bit closer than I'd wanted, but I just needed those points. I think I just calculated them. I only gained like 3 points in him, so at some point I will need to turf him and send him into the barrier, but that will be on another day.
Yeah, so let's talk about that. We've got Virginia International Raceway South now under the belt, and of course you picked up the win. We go to the long version of Charlotte Infield next week. So I would hope that you don't put him in the barrier, but apart from that, what's the game plan?
Same as today. Just turn up and try and execute, I guess. And I mean, he has all this experience going to these tracks through the official series and whatnot. And obviously, he's the highest, one of the highest I-rating drivers on Formula license due to driving these cars so much. So it's a hard task to perform at the same level he does, because he can just do it so easily. So I'm learning probably more than he is every round. Yeah, we'll just do the same. Try and learn from him and just tuck in the draft, because I mean, I think I'm decent enough that I can't really be dropped by him unless I have a major brain issue. But yeah, just try and stick with him and take him down at the end.
Well, it's great to see that does not affect you that much. Of course, before we let you go, as per usual, anybody you would like to give a thanks to or anything you would like to mention?
Yeah, the admins of the series for putting it on, you guys for the broadcast, and yeah, Gianni and his coaching business as well. As he already said, it's he does really good work. So if you do want some coaching, you should check it out.
Oh, thank you very much. We shall let you go and pop open the champagne for another time this season.
Yeah, it should be good.
Have a good night. Thank you.
Thanks.
And that was Zach Rattray-White. That is it. That is time. Tristan, what are your final thoughts on tonight's race?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, absolutely incredible race we got to witness tonight. Loads of action between the top fighting, and also a lot of action in our mid-pack fighting, which is always great to see some of the guys a little bit further back also throwing it out. and showing their performance. But yet again, VIR South has presented itself as a great place for the drivers to show their luck and show their skill. And tonight, it has been a relatively fortunate one and just a great race overall for Rattray White and Lutsu, 1400ths of a second behind. It's a very, very sad defeat to lose from such a small margin. But like he does say, it's great points for him still on the board. But great race, and we'll see you next week. And yeah, overall, really good race. It's gonna top the expectations for the next coming races.
Indeed it is, and we go to Charlotte infield with the long variation next week round. Then, of course, you've got Okayama, Alton Park, Tsukuba. You've also got Wild West Motorsport Park, Lime Rock Chicanes, and Laguna Seca to come your way for the rest of the season. We had an unfortunate lap 1 incident in tonight's race, but other than that, it was nice and clean across the board. And a very, very small margin win there for Zach Rattray White. We'll be back, same place, same time, same people in the box. But for tonight, ladies and gentlemen, I've been Alexa Marshall with Tristan Herbst. Our producer in the background has been Jim Cunningham, who's brought you all the amazing camera shots you've seen tonight. This has been live on Apex Racing TV. It's been TGR Nation Grand V, season number 3, round number 5. We'll see you for round 6. Good night.